in the thunderous skies of World War II. The names dominated German aviation, Messerschmitt and Dornier. Everyone knows the Bf-109, the legendary fighter that became the backbone of the Luftwaffe. But what about the company that challenged its supremacy at every turn? This is the story of a forgotten rivalry, a secret battle for the soul of the Luftwaffe, fought not just in the air, but in the design offices and corridors of power. Today, we're diving deep into the clash of two aviation titans, Willy Messerschmitt, the ambitious and politically savvy creator of the world's most produced fighter, and Claude Dornier, the visionary pioneer of flying boats and heavy bombers. Their philosophies were night and day. Messerschmitt championed lightweight, high performance, single-engine fighters, deadly, agile, and relatively cheap to produce. Dornier, on the other hand, was the master of multi-engine design, creating some of the most innovative and versatile aircraft of the era. This wasn't just a friendly competition. It was a high-stakes struggle for resources, contracts, and influence within the Third Reich's complex military machine. Every decision, every design, could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Using newly restored and rare footage, we'll uncover how this rivalry shaped the course of the air war. Let's start where it all began. In the early 1930s, as Germany secretly began to rearm, a competition was announced for a new, modern monoplane fighter. This was the moment that would catapult Messerschmitt from a small Bavarian company into a global powerhouse. His design, the Bf-109, was a revelation. It was sleek, fast, and armed with cannon firing through the propeller hub. It was a purebred hunter, designed for one purpose, air superiority. But Dornier wasn't sitting still. While Messerschmitt focused on fighters, Dornier was perfecting his own niche. His Do-17, originally designed as a fast mail plane, was quickly adapted into a bomber so sleek and fast it was nicknamed the Flying Pencil. It could outrun many of the biplane fighters of its day, proving that bombers could be more than just slow, lumbering targets. The early successes of the Bf-109 in the Spanish Civil War cemented Messerschmitt's position. The Luftwaffe loved the 109. It was a pilot's plane, responsive and deadly. Production ramped up, and Messerschmitt became the golden boy of the German aviation industry. His connections with high-ranking Nazi officials like Ernst Cadet certainly didn't hurt. He knew how to play the political game, ensuring his designs got the priority they needed. Meanwhile, Dornier continued to innovate in the shadows. His work on heavy bombers was groundbreaking. The Do-19 was a 4-engine strategic bomber, a Euro bomber, designed to strike deep into enemy territory. But the Luftwaffe High Command, enamored with the idea of tactical air power supporting the Blitzkrieg, canceled the project. It was a pivotal moment. Germany had turned its back on strategic bombing, a decision that would have huge consequences later in the war. Was this a mistake born of tactical short-sightedness? Or was the influence of fighter proponents like Messerschmitt already too strong? As war erupted, the rivalry intensified. Messerschmitt's Bf-109s cleared the skies over Poland and France. But the Battle of Britain exposed their one major weakness, range. They could only stay over London for a few minutes before having to turn back, leaving the bombers they were supposed to protect vulnerable. This is where Dornier's aircraft should have shined. The Do-17, along with the Heinkel 111, formed the backbone of the bombing campaign against Britain. But they were facing a new generation of British fighters, the Spitfire and the Hurricane. Suddenly, the Flying Pencil wasn't fast enough. Losses were horrific. The bombers needed better protection, and the Bf-109 couldn't provide it long enough. This led to another critical showdown. Messerschmitt proposed a solution, a twin-engine heavy fighter, the Bf-100 Tensorster or Destroyer. It had the range and firepower to escort the bombers deep into enemy territory. On paper, it was perfect. In reality, it was a disappointment. It was less agile than single-engine fighters and became easy prey for the RAF. Dornier had his own answer, the Do-117. It was an evolution of the Do-17, larger, faster, and capable of carrying a massive bomb load. More importantly, it was incredibly versatile. It could be a level bomber, a dive bomber, a night fighter, and even a platform for launching guided missiles, a technology far ahead of its time. The Do-117 was a jack of all trades, a testament to Dornier's forward-thinking design philosophy. But versatility came at a cost. The Do-117 was complex and more expensive to produce than Messerschmitt's single-minded fighters. In a total war economy, numbers mattered. The Luftwaffe needed thousands of planes, and the Bf-109 was simply easier to mass-produce. Messerschmitt's philosophy of simple, effective design was winning the production war. The most fascinating chapter of this rivalry, however, was yet to come. It involved a plane so strange, so unconventional, that it looks like something out of science fiction even today, the Dornier Do-335 or Arrow. By 1943, the tide of the war was turning. Allied bombers were pounding German cities day and night. The Luftwaffe was desperate for a superweapon, a fighter that could intercept and destroy the bomber streams. Messerschmitt offered the Me-162, the world's first operational jet fighter. It was a game changer, but it was plagued by unreliable engines and Hitler's insistence on using it as a bomber. Dornier's solution was radically different. The Do-335 was a piston-engine aircraft, but it was the fastest one ever built. Its secret was a unique push-pull configuration. It had one engine at the front pulling the aircraft and another at the back pushing it. This eliminated the drag from two engines on the wings, creating an incredibly streamlined and powerful design. The Do-335 was a beast. It was faster than any Allied propeller fighter and could even outrun the British Mosquito. It was heavily armed and could carry a significant bomb load. It had an ejection seat, another incredible innovation for the time. This was Dornier's masterpiece, a culmination of his life's work. It was a fighter-bomber that could do everything the Luftwaffe needed: intercept heavy bombers, fight for air superiority, and attack ground targets. Imagine a squadron of Do-335s tearing through a formation of B-17s. With its speed and firepower, it could have been devastating. But like so many of Germany's late-war wonder weapons, it was too little, too late. The complex design meant production was slow. Constant Allied bombing raids on factories hampered output. By the time the war ended, only a handful of Do-335s had been delivered. So, who won this secret battle? In terms of numbers and immediate impact, the victor was clearly Messerschmitt. Over 33,000 Bf-109s were built, making it the most produced fighter in history. His name is synonymous with German air power in World War II. He gave the Luftwaffe exactly what it wanted: a simple, effective, mass-produced tool for its blitzkrieg tactics. But Claude Dornier's legacy might be the more profound one. His designs consistently pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. From pioneering flying boats to the versatile Do-117 and the revolutionary Do-335, his work was always looking toward the future. He wasn't just building planes for the current war. He was designing the aircraft for the next one. The concepts seen in the Do-335, the push-pull layout, the ejection seat, the multi-role capability, were incredibly influential in post-war aircraft design. The rivalry between Messerschmitt and Dornier reveals a fundamental split. In German military thinking, Messerschmitt represented the tactical, short-term approach that brought early victories. Dornier represented the strategic, long-term vision that was ultimately sidelined. One has to wonder, what if the Luftwaffe had embraced Dornier's innovations earlier? What if they had strategic bombers like the Do-19 in 1940? What if they had squadrons of Do-335s to defend Germany in 1944? The air war over Europe could have looked very different. This wasn't just a battle between two engineers. It was a clash of ideas that shaped history. The familiar silhouette of the Bf-109 might dominate our memory of the Luftwaffe, but in the shadow of that legend lies the story of Dornier, the brilliant innovator whose vision was perhaps too advanced for his time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation history, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the forgotten archives of World War II. Let us know in the comments which aircraft rivalry you'd like us to cover next. See you in the next one.